Ultimate Chicken Horse is a party game. It's wild, it's unpredictable, sometimes it feels downright lucky.
Oh! Wait!
It's a game where a horse, a chicken, a squirrel, basically every ridiculous animal you can think of, they build death traps for each other. It sounds like the least competitive game possible. From the outside looking in, Ultimate Chicken Horse has always marketed itself as a fun couch game to play with friends. Like, you're not really supposed to take it serious. On paper, Ultimate Chicken Horse has no business being an esport. Or does it? I thought the same thing until I watched one professional match. Yes, this game has professional players. These players were making decisions I didn't even know were possible. I present to you Raido and Kreutz. These are some of the most famous names in competitive Ultimate Chicken Horse, and for good reason. Both of these players are fan favorites. They both are going head to head in the Grand Swiss 4 finals. At the time, the undisputed #1 player in the world was Morphin, but there was still talk of who the #2 player was. Players often debated whether Kreutz or Raido were the #2 player. This tournament set held so much for both of these players in settling that debate. It was the difference between silver and bronze. Because as strange as it is, history often remembers the top 2 players. To be honest, history rarely remembers who finished third. It remembers the rivalries, the players who kept meeting each other when everything was on the line. For Raido and Kreutz, this wasn't just another tournament set, it was a chance to settle the debate over who deserved to stand beside Morphin. And what made this matchup so fascinating was that these two couldn't have approached the game more differently. Kreutz finds his strength in controlling the game. The cleaner and more mechanically intense the level is, the more powerful his gameplay becomes. Raido thrives in complete chaos. The messier a level becomes, the stronger he gets. That's why the community jokes that if a match reaches a tiebreaker, it's already over. The problem is that Ultimate Chicken Horse rewards both styles, just at different stages of a match. If the level stays controlled, Kreutz should win. If it descends into chaos, Raido should win. The only question was, what kind of level would they create? Well, I'm about to share that story with you. The following game will primarily focus on 2 sections of this map, the lower section and the upper section. Throughout this game, both players will target almost all their builds in these regions. Taking a look at the opening few rounds, we see these 2 setups. In the upper section, we see a fairly complex precision into a 1-block squeeze. By most standards, this would be a setup that favors Kreutz because of its clean, precise nature. In the bottom section, we see an incredibly unique setup. We have genuinely never seen a setup quite like this in tournament play before, because it uses a niche mechanic in Ultimate Chicken Horse called a spring cancel.
How does a spring cancel work? Do you need to press jump or sprint, or like what is this tech? Because this is something that is so obscure, I never hear about it.
Because this bottom setup is brand new for both of these players, it's a more chaotic build, favoring Raido. So, who wins the first point of the game? Well, because the beginning setup is so unique, Kreutz ends up losing 3 of his 4 lives to it, and doesn't get the amount of attempts needed to pass the section that favors him. Raido has built a favorable setup right from the opening of the match, and what happens next is absolutely crazy. The very next round, Raido places this ice directly where the hardest part of the precision jump is. From Raido's perspective, this makes perfect sense. Raido is thinking this will complicate the setup, making it more random and complex than before. But what mistake did Raido make here? What Raido failed to consider was that Kreutz is arguably the greatest precision player in the world, and there is one mechanic more important than anything else for precise jumps: NSTs. If you are good at doing NSTs, then ice has virtually no effect on you. NSTs are used to stop all of your momentum, but ice only has an effect on someone who has momentum. Raido is thinking this ice will make things chaotic, but in reality, he has played right into Kreutz's playstyle. So the very next round, Kreutz gets a miraculous point back, tying up the match. At this point in the game, the audience was shocked, because Kreutz shouldn't have tied things back up this quickly. In Ultimate Chicken Horse, every player will have a unique set of skills that makes them more comfortable in either the early, mid, or late game. Raido is someone who loves the sharp positions in the mid game, with thousands of complexities to sort through. Kreutz, however, is someone who is very different, loving the solid positions where he slowly builds an advantage. This is exactly why Kreutz scoring this point back so soon is devastating to Raido. They are still in the mid game, the part of the game where Raido thrives the most, but that doesn't discourage Raido. They continue building out these two sections, adding more depth, countering each other's plans, yet neither player scores a point. And with both players keeping the game so tight, they go into overtime, where each round the player gets dynamite to blow up any item, and the first person to make it to the end wins. Going into this overtime, Kreutz had never lost a finals game before, and yet Raido had never lost in overtime before. Two statistics that are absolutely crazy are in direct conflict. And that's why what happens next will go down in history as one of the greatest moments in competitive Ultimate Chicken Horse. With all the pressure in the world, both these players start their race with two opposing forces, control and chaos. But in this match, I realized just how powerful both of these strategies were. It was races like these that decided what stories history would tell years later. And when it mattered most, Kreutz, with a slow, controlled game, squeezed out his victory over Raido, winning the tournament and cementing himself into the history books. To this day, the main rivalry at the top is between Kreutz and Morphin. It's these types of stories that I think make Ultimate Chicken Horse worth being an esport. I used to think this game was wild, unpredictable, and downright lucky. But watching Raido and Kreutz showed me something completely different. This wasn't just two players placing random obstacles and hoping for the best. It was adaptation, strategy, mechanical skill, and two completely different philosophies fighting for control of the same game. Ultimate Chicken Horse isn't just a party game. It's a competitive game with stories worth telling. And that's exactly why it should be an esport.